Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Alisha Braché here at Cosmic Gateway, and I'm super excited to have another conversation here, um, coming out with these themes around you as children and people's incredible stories. As I reflect back over many years of asking to path away and put this information out, never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would have incredible people to come in and talk about this topic and share. So I would love to give a warm welcome to my two guests here with me. I have Mara and Mikkel. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia. Thanks for having us. It's yeah, really an honor to be able to talk to you in this way. This is our second conversation with you, and it was a real pleasure last time. So
Yeah.
looking forward to today.
Yeah, it's so I feel so privileged when people contact me to share their stories and want to be open about it. And then even right now to take it one step further to share your story publicly takes a lot of courage and bravery. So I really commend the both of you for that and thank you for being so open and transparent. So perhaps as a preface to this conversation, this interview, this may, while this may be very hugely comforting for those who are going through something similar and just giving them a point of reference and know that they're not alone. I know I get those types of messages all the time. And if this information is new for you and stretching your capacity a little bit, I would really encourage you to travel with us and be open-minded and be open to learning about these new types, new ways that are coming through. So thank you so much. So I guess maybe if you just want to introduce yourself and give us a little bit of a background of both of you and where you're at and who you are.
Okay. I'm Mara. I live in the Netherlands, close to Gouda. I'm a school teacher, and since 2022, yeah, I'm a healer, light worker, and to be mother of a yet to be born soul. I'm 57 years old,
Thank you. Thank you.
and
Well,
this is my husband.
hello. I am Michael, and I'm living with Mara for 3 years now. I used to be gardener,
Mhm.
but that's almost done. My age is 66 now, and well, we started a few years ago with our healing sessions after we did a study with a friend of ours. And well, that's growing. And in the meantime, we got pregnant.
Yeah, we did a shamanic course in 2021 to 22. Um, and we got a lot of downloads in that period, teaching
Is
us how
that how
to.
you two met? Was it during that time
No,
or share? Could you share a little bit about how you met?
yeah, I was organizing a torchlight procession in February of 2021. This was because this was in the dark COVID period where everybody was in fear, and I had been reading books by Christina von Dreyen. I don't know if you've read any of her books, but she's a Swiss a high frequency child that was born, had many problems starting up, and her twin sister died after a few weeks, I believe. Um, she writes really beautiful books, and she she came to the earth with a lot of knowledge, and she said from the beginning that the light has already won. It just has to get down to this density. And she was talking in her books about we need to spread the light. And I thought, okay, I'm done with the being angry and of protesting and saying, all these COVID measures are rubbish. It's time to do something positive. So I thought, okay, I'm going to organize a torchlight procession in Gouda. And at the very first procession, Michael was there. because somebody I knew had invited him, and he plays the drum, so he was playing along with the drum. I'm not sure if you did that the first time, but
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
yeah. So that was really cool. We were walking along in silence, and he was playing his drum, and everybody with a torchlight. It was really quite impressive and really positive. And we were actually stopped by the police because in that period, all processions and demonstrations were forbidden. And the policeman asked, what are you walking against? And I said, well, we're not walking against anything. We're walking for love and spreading the light. And he was like, oh, okay. And then there was really absolutely nothing he could say about it. So he let us go on. So we could just finish our whole procession. It was no problem.
Wow.
Including the weeks after, because we did it once a month for I think for about 4 months or something.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the days of course became longer, and it became dark a lot later. So we decided to stop doing it because a lot of people didn't show up anymore. But yeah, the police didn't give us any problems during all this time. So that was really quite funny.
So
What a beautiful sentiment.
yes. A few months later, I suggested her. No, she asked me to do something in her front garden. That was how we got more used to each other.
Yeah, because I wanted a flower bed, an extra flower bed in my front garden, and I wanted a flower bed in my back garden. And so he came to do some work, um, and at some point I was making lunch for myself. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm making a, a I don't know if you say that in English. A tosti? No, you don't say that, do you?
Uh,
It's like a toast with cheese in between, and you fry the bread on both sides,
Mhm.
um, and then I asked, well, I'm making that. Do you want one? And he said yes, and I was really surprised because I would think gardeners would want to stay in the garden, and but he wanted to come in.
Not me.
So yeah, then he came in, and we yeah, we hit it off, and we decided to go to some demonstrations together as well. So and then in the summer of 21, I had a sick rabbit. Um, he had an eye infection, and I actually had a problem because I was here alone. I had a daughter living at home, but she was, part of the time she was away or she was busy, and I had to treat the rabbit with a cream. I had to put it in his eye twice a day, and he didn't really like it. So rabbits are quite strong and they struggle. So I found that I was missing one hand. That two hands were just not enough to treat this rabbit. So I mentioned this to a few friends and Michael as well, and he said, "Oh, I'll come over and help you." And he came over from Gouda, which is 10 kilometers away, twice a day
Oh,
for the whole period that this rabbit needed to be treated. And I was like, "Oh, this is just such a good man," and I had no idea that he actually liked me maybe a little bit more than as a friend, but but it was in any case a very, very lovely gesture that he wanted to help me with the rabbit. Yeah.
oh.
So and then in September we became a couple. So that was after 8 months of knowing each other, or 7 months. And we also started the shamanic course.
Mhm, mhm.
And then we had to start healing to practice all the downloads we were getting, and we found that we really liked healing the earth as well, not just people. Because first um, we were told to go heal people, and then for example, we were in some town and we saw a church, and we were like, oh my God, this church has such a low frequency. We have to do something about it.
Yes.
So then we put down light, a,
A bundle of light.
a bundle of light or a ray of light.
Mhm.
We'd ask the angels to put it down in between our hands. We'd stand there and wait for it to come, and then it would transform all the negative energy in the church, and sometimes in the vortex, because a lot of churches have a vortex of negative energy in the hall, and that yeah, that felt really good. So we went to lots of big towns to do this, to Amsterdam and to The Hague and to
Also,
Paris,
yes.
Oh wow, there's some real dense
Prague.
energies. Yeah. It sounds
Yes.
like you
And
got sent on a gritting mission.
yeah, we
Yeah.
we were definitely on a mission then. And in the end, we passed the shamanic course mainly from having healed the earth because we did some healing of people as well, but the healing the earth was more important for us in that period. So
Such a important call. I remember when I first graduated from doing like a land healing earth acupuncture course, and all I wanted to do was like jump in my car and go to, wherever and just do my, it's really beautiful process and it's
yeah,
really
Mhm.
fulfilling.
it's
Yeah.
so fulfilling. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because then well, my husband uses this pendulum a lot, and then he'd ask, what was the frequency before the healing and what was the frequency after? And then you see the instant result, which is really nice. And then you can even ask a day later, what's the frequency now? And sometimes it will be like really much higher,
Yeah.
or we also had places that would return to their old frequency. So there was something bigger happening, or maybe we hadn't put the bubble of light down deep enough, for example, that there were
Yeah.
things under the ground, or that there was an energy that was so negative that you couldn't get it away in one go.
Yeah. I would like to tell this short story of
Mhm.
the healing we did on the Binnenhof, the Parliament of The Hague. There
Oh,
was a very low energy there, but we couldn't get in because there were contractors that were renewing the place. So we stood there outside the fences, and there was a tree, and that tree we did use for our healing.
The tree wanted to help us.
Yes. So with help of the roots of the tree, the light could go underground to the low frequency of the buildings.
mm-hmm,
And later on, I saw a darkish fluid coming out of the tree
hmm
uh, into the pond next to the tree and the buildings. It's the Hofvijver, that's a very
The
large
pond,
pond,
yeah,
and all that blackish
like
fluid,
ink, like dark ink. I
dark
saw,
ink,
yeah,
came out of the tree into the pond. It was a
Wow.
very mission.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible and such important work, especially in some of those dense, very dense pockets. I imagine in The Hague is one of the
Yeah,
central.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and in Paris, there was a tree next to Notre Dame as well, where we did the same thing. The tree
Yes.
wanted to help as well.
And
So yeah,
there
really
were
cool.
there were also contractors, and there was a fence around it. But one tree was hanging with a very long branch over the fence, and we
Ah,
could
We could
put
hold on to it.
yes, we
Yeah.
could put our hands on it, so we
mm,
could heal Notre Dame.
Yeah, and then the tree just pulls out the negative energy and then releases it
Yeah.
because we put the light beam over it. So the light beam is over the tree, and then the tree releases all the negative energy.
Yeah.
So
mm,
it's yeah, really cool that
Yeah.
nature wants to work with you
Yeah.
when you can't reach.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, thank you for sharing that. So maybe we'll get into a little bit about the soul, or the
Yeah.
soul, um, and that how we connected through the experience that you're now currently going through. Um, you mentioned that when you did the shamanic healing training, you were getting a lot of downloads. Was that collective downloads, or was that specific to the path that you were about to enter into, or is it a
I
combination?
think it's more specific,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it was specific because I was completely new to spirituality before well, in I think 2021 I did my first meditation.
Mhm.
No, wait. November 2020, I did my very first meditation. So before that, I was just, a regular school teacher, having stress and going about our life, getting irritated about things. And then a friend who was already on the spiritual path said, "Hey, I go to these meditation sessions once a week. So do you want to come? No, once a month. Do you want to come with me?" And well, I don't know, might be a bit boring. She said, oh, it might, might do you good. So I went with her, and that was really good. I'm really still very grateful to that friend that she took me along,
Mhm.
because that opened something for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we were getting, I think, quite specific downloads, especially towards healing, but also to previous lives. For example, we saw visions of where we'd lived before. I had an Egypt vision, for example. So I knew I'd had at least one life in Egypt,
Mhm.
and yeah, basically that.
You've really been put on a fast track journey then.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
incredible. It's been really, really intense.
yeah,
Yeah,
So let's fast forward to the talk about the children because that's a
yeah.
topic that I'd love to dive into and talk about in more depth. When did that start to, I mean, did you have any reference points before this all began? Maybe you can share a little bit about the lead up. Was there anything in the lead up to that could have given you any indication that your life was about to take some twist and turn?
No, not really. It was just that we were really having a very harmonic relationship, and we were both helping each other evolve. And that was something that was completely new to both of us, that to have a partner that was willing to look at themselves and say, okay, I want to heal this in myself. And then you both realize that all the irritation you have is just a reflection of what you need to look at in yourself. And um, that was really nice. And then I think it was at some point that we were just lying in each other's arms, and I said, "Well, oh, isn't it a shame that I'm, too old to have children? And wouldn't it be lovely to have just, a little? It sounds really corny, but a love baby of, the two of us." And I think that was probably in May 2022, and in June 2022 it happened.
yeah.
So
Um,
there was a desire there, but maybe not on like a realistic level. Like there was, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It was a very unrealistic level because I had no idea that it was still possible. I had never heard of 5D pregnancies, cryptic pregnancies. I hadn't looked into it at all. I had no idea it existed.
Mhm.
Um, I was really on the 3D level of, okay, if you think you're pregnant and you're getting symptoms and you go to go get a scan and you're not pregnant, then you're not pregnant. That was what I believed as well.
Mhm.
Um, until this happened to us. And well, as I said, I'm 57. I was already 7 years post menopause, so I hadn't menstruated in over 7 years. So yeah, that's what people say, that women are infertile at this point and can't have children anymore.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, I believe now that that's an old concept that we can let go of.
Very much so, very much so. Was there anything profound that, I mean, you don't have to go into the intimate details, but was there a point where you felt the soul connect or come in, or when did the soul first sort of start to communicate or make its presence known?
No, not at that night.
Well, we did have a well, it was a very special experience that we felt a lot of light. Um, we felt definitely a presence in our room, a
Yes.
presence of more than one
Mhm.
um, soul, or I would think maybe angels. It felt like it was very high energy, very light, um, definitely light conception feeling. And in the morning, we looked at each other and we're like, "Did you also have the feeling that something really special happened last night?" And yeah, we both had that feeling. And after a week or so, we were having an ice cream in Gouda, and I said, could you just ask your pendulum if I'm pregnant? Because I mean, it's a really silly question, but it's like I got pregnant that night. And then the pendulum said yes, and I was like, oh, okay. I sort of half hadn't expected it, or but then yeah, we started to get signals like the lamp in the bathroom would start flickering we have this lamp that you have to pull a string, and if you hold on to the string and you don't pull it hard enough, the light flickers. But now if we pull it and there's a message, it will keep flickering even if we pulled it all the way. So they were in the beginning just using the bathroom lamp to give signals, and we at first I didn't realize um, I had a light healing done by somebody who's now a dear friend, actually our shamanic course leader as well.
Mhm.
And she said that she actually sees a boy pulling the string, because I asked her, what is happening with that
What's going
bathroom?
on? Yeah.
Yeah, can you get any information on that? And then she's like, yeah, I think I see a little boy doing this.
Mhm.
And "Oh, a little boy, okay." Um, but then, of course, at a certain point, we thought, okay, 1 and 1 is 2. The little boy must be the soul coming in, and that he's trying to tell us things.
Mhm.
So we tried to pick up on the messages he was sending us, and it was usually things about frequency in the house. That, for example, we had to take away low frequency stones from the bathroom, from the my bedroom, the table next to my bed. So I had a stone there that I thought was quite pretty, but it had a low frequency. I didn't realize that yet, so I had to take that away. We had to put a pyramid under our bed. Um, we had to start eating differently.
Yeah.
That was really important.
No more meat. No,
No,
no more fish.
yeah, and
In the
then
beginning,
yeah, and then after a while it got more rigid. So he would add something every time. At certain point we had to stop eating
diary.
yeah, dairy, milk and cheese, and that was a struggle in the beginning because we both love cheese. So yeah, and now we're into little bits of vegan cheese and lots of fruits and vegetables and nuts and beans. Yeah,
The lots of adjustments had to come
yeah, yeah,
through each of the
yeah.
messages.
Yes, and this is actually because he's well, he's a real high frequency soul. We believe he's from the angelic realm, and that he's actually a part of the soul of an archangel.
Mhm.
And he thinks that animals are treated really badly at this moment, and we agree completely. Um, so that's the reason he doesn't want us to have meat, not because the meat itself is bad for us, but because of the fate of the animals. The animals are having such a horrible life for us, and then at a certain point, I said, well, why can't we have eggs? Well, that's actually the same reason that chickens are being cultivated to lay eggs every day, and it's actually quite detrimental for their health to
Mhm.
have to lay an egg every day, because the eggs get stuck, they get infections, they get weak. Um, so if we could find an egg somewhere in the field, from a wild bird, that would be okay. But we can't have eggs from cultivated chickens, for example. So he's really into yeah, treating animals right.
Mhm. Is that going to be
And
part of, I mean, you may not know yet, or you may not want to share, but is that part of what he's bringing through? Is it somehow connected to animals in terms of his path or service? I'm curious.
No,
Oh.
no, I don't think so. No, he's no. It's not his main role. I think he's here to help transform society. I think that's his main role.
yeah,
Mm.
Yeah, because he's already let us know
Already.
that he wants to go to regular school, for example, and we're like, oh, please don't. He's like, yeah, well, he wants to transform it, so he wants to
Okay,
go there.
well, very ambitious. I like that.
Oh, yes.
yes.
So, how often do you feel that you get the opportunity to communicate with him, or how often is it just through the light, or there have been other means? Have you had through contact through dream or vision, or
Well, many. We've had many, many, many signals now. I had my phone as well. My phone would make little beeps, and that would also be a message. We had through sneezing. If we had to sneeze a few times, it would be a message. Um, and now it's becoming easier and easier. So if I just, well, both of us, if we sit down and go into sort of a little bit of meditation and we ask him things, he can, if he wants to, if he thinks it's a relevant question, he'll answer it.
So what has this process been like for you? Obviously, your body has changed, your eating habits have changed. You've had to change or, yeah, make changes within the house and obviously your own frequency. Um, do you want to share a little bit about the transformation that this journey has brought for you? Um,
Yeah, it's an enormous transformation.
It has a great impact on our lives. For instance, our families, we have almost no contact with them.
Yeah, well, not completely. That's a bit negatively put, I would say, but they haven't been very supportive, most of them, on this path that we're on. Even though they think some parts of it are interesting, for
mm,
example, the healing. Well, it's interesting what you're doing, and we've actually been allowed to give a healing to a few of my family members, which I was very grateful for.
mhm.
Um, but the whole pregnancy has been, yeah, that's been our solo path, let's say, that the family has been not being supportive at all. It's from the beginning, it's been, no, it must be a false pregnancy because you're so old. It will be a miracle. It's, yeah,
The
It's a too
questions are,
far stretch for them to.
yeah.
yeah, and we forgive them for that. I mean, it's not that we're angry or but it's been a struggle in the beginning to cope with that. That was one of a lot of limiting beliefs on that, that I wanted my sisters to think that I was good, that I was doing the right thing, that I was smart, that I wouldn't be doing something silly, that I kept wanting respect from them, and then I had to turn it around because it was actually them I had to give respect to, and them I had to
Mhm.
like. Um, and then the tension lessened between us, which was quite nice. But yeah, our whole life has been transformed. We live in a really high frequency house now, which makes it really, really nice to come home. People like to come visit. We have really high frequency friends as well. We have a group of friends that come once a month on the 22nd of every month for an angelic gathering, and then we do healings in the collective.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's really always such a lovely evening, and they're really close friends. We always do a round of, how are you doing today? Anything new? And then we have a theme that we're going to work with. So
Perhaps you can tell the last section.
the last session.
The last session was very with the second chakra thing.
Um,
That's very important also for the collective to know.
do you mean that we do the healing of the conception fields?
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
yes.
Well, every month we try to do the healing of the two conception fields, the Earth conception field and the Moon conception field. So we consider it our mission now to keep them clean. So we do this every month. But last time we had a bit of a struggle on the Earth in the Earth conception field, not because it was so dirty, but because we had energy coming in from another realm or dimension or other
Extragalactic.
yeah, some other galactic
Mhm.
parts. I'm not sure from where. And
Mhm.
it was a very dark energy concerning maltreatment of the second chakra. So abusing, misusing for own gain or for experiments, or it was in any case very dark, and
Mhm.
it was like a big cloud of dark air in our room.
Mhm.
Um, Michael had to get it, had to send it out. ask the angels for help to get it out because it didn't want to leave.
Mm.
Uh, and then we could transform it. So that was quite a struggle.
Yes, and 3 women were having problems with their second chakra
Yeah, because
during
things
that evening.
yeah, because things were triggered in them as well, because
Yes.
they'd had a previous life concerning something
Mhm.
like that.
So
Yeah.
potentially, do you think that might be a bit of a collective theme at the moment of like release, people going through second chakra release phases, or I don't know if you see that often in the work that you do, but I see that these repetitive themes that come up. And funnily enough, I recorded
Yeah.
another podcast this morning and we were talking about all the issues relating to the second chakra that
Yeah,
come in.
I think definitely it's a theme now. We had a while back we had the fifth chakra as a theme. Oh, are
Oh,
you okay?
yeah, just give me a second. Sorry, we're back. That was wow, a warning signal, I guess. Uh,
Wait.
oh, and we're back. Sorry about that, everyone. We've had a signaling or a message come through, and I guess that's how it happens, right? Get your attention through electronic devices. That was just my smoke alarm, um, giving a very strange signaling. So we're back. We're back. We were just talking about the second chakra, and maybe that perhaps just signaling too before we carry on that that may be a significant thing to investigate and have a look at for yourself if that resonates, to do some clearing around it, and of course to bring through these children. There's significant clearing that has to undergo, not just in the female, but I believe the male counterpart as well, in clearing out not all, yeah, the second chakra, the sacral chakra, but well, there's a lot of clearing that goes that
Yeah.
goes into it, right?
And I'm really grateful that we've been able to do this as a team because I know there are a lot of women out there that haven't had the support of a man by their side all the time, and it's been really intense for me, and I've had unwavering support from my husband, so that's really lovely. But I can imagine for other women it must be even so much harder if you can't talk about it to your partner, or you don't get the help in getting through your traumas.
Mm-hmm.
Because oh boy, do we have many traumas when you start to work on them.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why I thought it was so beautiful to get the both of you on to share, because it shows a beautiful example of what is possible in, very conscious relationship and connection, and being able to support this very huge process. And so yeah, it is true. It's throughout all the women that I know, it would be, I can't say it's 50-50. I would say more women are on their own going through it, or not having a supportive male counterpart that's physically present. There's a lot of variation, so it's so wonderful to see how much support you have, and how you help each other through all the challenges and the changes
Yes.
Yes.
that
And it's very important that our frequencies rise, and together we manage to. And when you are on your own and you have a husband that's not in for it,
Mhm.
he keeps the frequency low.
Or you can well then it's sometimes some traumas are really difficult to get through on your own. So I know that you could find help elsewhere, but it's really nice that you can go through really difficult traumas in your own safe home area with your own partner. So I'm really grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's dive more into talking about what you can share or you understand about your own process, your own child coming through, and perhaps the greater perspective of these children coming through. Is there anything that comes to mind that you can share? Obviously, very high frequency coming from, specifically for you, it's more the angelic realm, which
Yeah.
is beautiful to get the different inputs. Mine's very, very galactic. So it's like, there's all different vibrations and energetic aspects to these. So It's nice to see the bigger picture.
Yeah. Well, we believe that these high frequency children don't come through the regular Earth conception field or the Moon conception field because those both fields were very polluted a while back.
Mhm.
Not since we've been cleaning them, but they're still lower frequency than these children want to come in at. So um, in these pregnancies, in any case, in my pregnancy, I think I can't speak for everybody in this case. Um, there has actually been a conception field has been created around me in this house, but it actually goes with me where I go. So I'm actually carrying around a conception field, a private conception field, which contains um, my child and the other children that want to come in as well. Um, and I had a vision the other day that it's actually shaped like a cube,
Mm.
um,
Mhm.
but with a sort of immense space behind it. So it's as if you're going into a cube,
Mhm.
and then you're behind that or in there. There's grass and there's flowers and trees, and they're just playing around, having lots of fun. And I was really so grateful for that vision. Um,
Mm.
Shall I
Like
show
you
it?
carry your own little pocket of New Earth with you, with them.
yeah, so I carry my own. I have no idea how big it is in reality, but
Hmm.
it didn't look that big in my vision. But behind it, just an immense space emerged.
Mm.
So yeah, this is actually a drawing I made of it, but I'm not sure it's going to be
Oh
well.
yeah. Oh wow. Oh, that's so stunning.
And these are our 5 children. We'll explain that later.
Well,
Yeah.
we believe there are 5 souls that want to come in
Yes.
with us, um, and two of
How,
them are from the angelic realm, and no, actually 4 of them are from the angelic realm. But 2 of them are angels, and 2 of them are fairies.
hmm hmm
And there's one, the last one is actually from an even higher realm. Um, I think it's the 12th, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yes.
12th realm.
Mm. Wow. Okay. And
Yeah.
how, okay. So on a very human level, how did you process when I mean, first of all, you're going through this conception experience. What was your first sort of go-to in terms of like, am I crazy? Is this really happening? What was happening in your body? Like, how did you go through processing all of that? And then obviously you've got that to digest and take in, and then all of a sudden there's this open possibility that there could be more. Like, how on a
Well,
human level?
it took a long time though, because we only had the one soul that we knew of for a very long time. And so we thought, okay, there's only going to be one child, which is, logical because we're in limiting beliefs. We're both old, so one child will be plenty, and we already have our own children. Um, and So at one point we were sitting on the sofa, and I kept feeling this sort of tugging on one of the muscles in my leg. And I said, it's really weird, but I keep somebody or something is tugging at my leg all this time. Something's happening, somebody's trying to tell me something. And then it was actually the second soul saying, "Hello, here I am. Do you want me as well? Am I welcome?"
Mhm.
And so we're like, "Oh wow, okay, yeah, sure." So the second one, welcome. And then number 3 and 4 appeared like the day after. They're like, "Hello," from I think it was an itch on my back or something. But this was quite recent. This was so I've been pregnant since June 2022, but I think the other 4 appeared in
4 months.
April or May of this year, so like
Mm.
a lot later.
Interesting. April and May seemed to be a conception gateway portal because I had experiences I'm not prepared to share yet. And
Okay.
I know feedback from a lot of people around the influx of souls trying to find potential, yeah, parents or gateways into being conceived and come in. So that's really fascinating. I love
Yeah.
to
And then at first we said, well, number two, three, and four, well, wait, number one isn't even here yet. No, please be a little patient.
That,
But
that was my
number three,
sentiment.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But number three is really sort of stubborn, and so
Mm.
she kept sort of pulling at me,
Yeah,
itching me
my
here,
sentiment
giving me a
exactly.
pull
Can we just,
there. Hello, I really, really, really like you as parents. She was giving me messages like this all the time. So,
Mhm.
um, so then in the end we thought, well, why not? I mean, if there are actually four children that want to come be with us, and if they feel that we're going to be good parents to them, and we have a big house, so it's possible. All right then. So we said all right, and then number five appeared.
Oh, it's gonna get busy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometime, yeah, we don't know when, but yeah.
And I'd love to if you could share anything about like physical energetic sensations
Oh
in that
yeah.
have I want to speak to the metamorphosis of the physical body that women such as yourself go through on this, because it from an outsider perspective and people who are very fact-based, it's I understand it's hard, it's a stretch for people's consciousness to that they're not going through it, or they haven't been introduced to anyone who has. It's a bit of a stretch, but when you're going through it, it's undeniable the changes in the body. So I'd love for you to speak to that if you could a little bit.
Yeah, well, the changes I experienced mostly is my stomach's really grown a lot, or my belly. And in the beginning, it was sort of 4 or 5 months pregnant for a long time, and then it went in June of this year. It went to say 6 months, 7 months pregnant.
Mhm.
So it had a sort of growth
Mhm.
spurt.
Spurt, yeah, yeah.
I
Mhm.
wasn't sure if that was an English word, but yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Um, so it suddenly grew,
Mhm.
and well, I feel a lot of high energy in my belly a lot of the time, and my breasts have grown, so I have yeah, I have pregnant breasts, definitely. Um, I feel a lot of high frequency energy going through my body. I feel sort of shivers down my spine a lot.
Mhm.
Um, in a positive way, not shivers as in negative, but sort of positive energy shivers,
Mhm.
or shaking. Let's see, what else do I feel?
In your hoofd or head.
What do I feel in my head?
Het is echt heel vaak pijn hier.
Yeah, but that's not really connected to.
Oh, that's the processes.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
process. No, that's not
Mm.
connected to the pregnancy as such. Now he was just talking about that I get headaches, but that's when I'm in the middle of a process, and then they somehow connect me to something here. So I always get a headache here, and then some process starts, and it was yeah, sometimes they were pregnancy processes, and sometimes like this weekend, it was the beginning of a process um to get us into more of a pranic lifestyle. Um, like our bodies have been changed so that we could actually completely live without food now,
Yeah,
which
wow.
is yeah, which is I think is quite a change, and I'm not completely ready for it psychologically yet.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, physically, I am, and I have noticed yesterday and today that my body is not reacting too positively to food. So I think maybe I'm going to have to start working on that.
Yeah, that's going to be a big change. And we were
Mm,
talking a little bit about this off camera, and I do know a story of a woman. Um, I don't know her personally, but I know about her like conception story that she was breatharian for a very extended period of time that was to help facilitate the conception process and the birth of the child to come in. So yeah, and I know that throughout various stages of my own journey, I've gone not full, but your consuming so much light energy that food is not overly
Yeah.
necessary. Yeah.
But that's really interesting, though. So you're saying that it actually helped her give birth to her baby.
If I
Oh, was it?
recall the story correctly, I think in the lead up to the conception, and then I think through the duration of the pregnancy, um, I think she was encouraged to eat a little bit because she, was trying to bring that baby into physicality. And I think her process for memory took about 3.5 years to go from conception to, in linear time conception to birth. But yeah,
Okay.
so
So
um,
there are a few cases where there has actually been a birth like this.
I know of a handful. Most women don't talk about it. That story that I'm referring to in particular was in the 70s, and unfortunately, the child didn't survive very long. The frequency on the planet was far too dense,
Okay.
Okay.
which has unfortunately I don't talk about it because unfortunately that has been a story that I have heard a few times of children that have been birthed. Um, so yeah, and then there's always different variants but yes, it's actually in a book uh, called Parthenogenesis, written by Den Poitras. I can link that down below. He wrote the story about a friend of his in the 70s, I think, from memory. And so that was when I was doing my intensive research back in the beginning before I started, you know, bringing through my own information. I went on a rampage because I needed to understand this process. And if anyone had been through it, like my brain needed to find information to kind of calm it. And I literally was about to give up and just go, you know what, I'm crazy. And I came across this story that I've shared a little bit about. So, yeah, and that was like a lifesaver for me because I was like, oh, okay, it's happened. Like that's what my brain always needs. One example that it's possible, then I can settle into, I guess, reaffirming my own knowing. So yeah.
Yeah, well, it's nice that you're saying that because I think you asked me earlier as well if maybe I had moments when I felt that I was going crazy or something. Yeah,
Mhm.
I did as well. But I've have had the pleasure of being able to, for example, watch your podcast and talk to a few friends that believe me. That's given me a lot of support. The
They're
group that
gold, aren't
we're
they?
talking
They're
about,
worth more
yeah,
than gold, those friends.
yeah. The
Yeah.
group we were talking about earlier, our Angel group, they've just been so valuable to us for supporting us and being there for us and backing us up. It's been really great.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I wanted to say that okay, you found this one. I found you, which I'm really really thankful for. Um, and you were asking about the physical aspects. There was one thing I still wanted to say. Because we watched, for example, one of your podcasts where you were talking to a woman who was pregnant with twins, and she said she felt sometimes they were there and sometimes they were gone. Well, um, my pregnancy is not like that.
Yours is okay. Yeah, yours is
Yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah. I don't feel legs, hands, arms, nothing. I just feel energy,
Yeah.
and I have the big belly, um, which is not fat. I can assure you.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, do you describe it to me? Am I making it's like plasma light energy? Is that how you? Yeah,
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 yeah, we believe it's plasma in my uterus, which is going to be transformed into the physical body.
yeah.
Um, and that things are already happening. A
Mhm.
few a while ago, yeah, last time I talked to you, we've been having big developments that I'd felt that there were actually packages being emptied into my uterus. And that was really an intense 2 weeks where I was exhausted. I could only just sit on the couch and um, just energy being emptied into my belly and increasing the vibration there and increasing the physicality as well. That's how it felt. So we were both convinced our baby wanted to be born on the 10th or 11th of November. That was just our firm belief, but it was, of course, another limiting belief that we had to let go of.
The constant letting go.
Yes.
Oh,
So yeah, it didn't happen.
they are so patient there.
Yeah, but that's because they're completely away from linear time, whereas we're still 1 foot in the linear time. That's the problem.
That is
Yeah,
the problem. Yeah,
yes,
most. Mhm.
because I still go to school. At least I was at home for a month because I really couldn't work. I had no energy to work. But I've been going back now. I started on Thursday again, part-time for a little while. And but
And
yeah,
that's
for
got to be
school,
tricky for
that's
you to
linear time.
navigate.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is sometimes very tricky. Yeah. And so yeah, that's linear time. So that you have to be in school at 8:30 and class starts at 8:55 and then you go home at 12 o'clock and yeah, that's all yeah, what we actually don't really want to associate with anymore, but and yeah, we had an appointment to be recorded with you today at a certain time. So yeah,
It
some
would,
linear connections here.
yes, so some unnecessary for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, where do I want to? I love the way that you describe that because I've heard so many different variants. I can relate to both through this experience. I was told in the beginning when I was told to start to write about it, and then obviously I grew my confidence to speak more openly and put my name to things. But I was very upset in the beginning because I couldn't find anyone that I could fully go, yes, that's my experience. There were bits and pieces, but I guess I was trying to look for another me. And I was
Yeah.
told very that no, I would go through all of what is possible so that as I can meet and find and connect with other women, that I would have an understanding of all of it and to then be able to bring the melting pot of information. So I get very detective like. I'm like, yeah, I totally get that because I've seen that in visions of the morphing into physicality of being plasma, light, energy, and then taking on a physical form, and that can happen. I've been told that a woman can go from energetic pregnancy into birth within 3 days. That's all it would really take to bring, probably even less, let's face it, but just for our Lydian minds to comprehend, it can go from a state of highly energetic and morph into full physicality within 3 days when the optimum time is right. And
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to speak for everyone, but I truly believe that there are potentialities of when there can be an optimum time in terms of not so much astrological or planetary line, it's like energetic alignments where it is a possibility. And then it's tested to see if the conditions are right. And if not, like away we go again. So
Yeah, yeah. And it's with the connected with timelines aligning, right? That's what you believe.
that, that's very much
Yeah.
how I understand the process. And one of the things that came to me, it was through a discussion. I was like, oh, makes so much sense. Because I know in the cryptic pregnancy sort of communities and groups, they're very focused on trying to get physical, tangible tests and proof evidence, and ultrasounds and things like that. But if you look into some of the gurus and the sages who are very highly advanced, who've walked this earth, there's many stories documented where someone would take a photograph and they wouldn't appear in it because their frequency was out of the light spectrum. And if they wanted to appear in it, they would have to really concentrate to bring themselves into density. And I think the same thing goes with these children not showing up in testing, having their false testing, not showing up on, sonograms that they don't want to be. I was told, like you were in the beginning, this is to be kept completely out of the Western medicine model because there's no frame of reference here.
Well,
Yeah, I think we were talking about that before the camera was on as well. That we actually let me think, what was I going to say? That yeah, we were told that a scan was a bad idea, that we shouldn't get a scan done, and we got only negative pregnancy tests, and but not to worry that I was really pregnant. So things like that. So yeah, I think I did 3 pregnancy tests because I really wanted the tangible evidence at that point. I wanted to be able to tell my sisters, "Hey, I'm pregnant after all," you know. But yeah, it wasn't possible. And then they said, "Well, why don't you just go to the doctor and get a scan?" And
Mm.
Michael, which is really intuitive, said right away from, "No, no, I can feel that he definitely doesn't want that." And then he would grab his pendulum and go, "Look, I'll show you." And do you want us to get a scan done? No. So it was always a no. So yeah, we never even considered I considered the scan, but Michael never considered a scan, so it wasn't just not an option.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people who are watching, perhaps that are going through it, that could be somewhat comforting, or people who may be the partner of, or the friend of, or um, someone, what's the thing that you guys could offer that would be the most support in someone watching that really needs to hear a message right now in relation to this topic? Sorry, I put you
Well,
on the spot. I totally put you on the spot then, didn't I?
yes, you definitely did. Well, I definitely say have courage and believe in yourself and believe that you can do it, and that there is so much more possible than what we were taught when we were young, when we were younger. That there's an endless possibility, and an endless amount of possibilities, um, and for people surrounding the ones that are pregnant, just please just be a listening ear, and don't try and rationalize everything. Don't say it's not possible because, but just listen, just be there, um, be the arms around a person, or just offer the support you can without condemning or brushing everything off, because that is really very detrimental.
For sure.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to add?
you already said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I just
And
love
yeah,
connecting with you too.
it's
Um,
it's a really it's definitely a very tough path, and I really have to be honest that if I'd known beforehand it was going to be such a long, hard path, I would have thought twice, but I had no idea. It was just brought in bits and pieces, and
Right.
I think probably the same with most people that go on this path. You just think, oh wow, interesting, I've been sort of selected for this special kind of pregnancy. But then what it actually involves, what is involved in it, that your frequency has to go sky high. That means dropping off all your traumas, all your limiting beliefs, all your old tracks of, oh yeah, when I did this, I used to do this always. No, just
And then
everything.
and then the food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
changing the way you eat,
Yeah.
no more wine, no more beer. Oh yeah, it's I can't drink any alcohol at all.
Biological. Everything is biological. And
mm,
sometimes it's not enough. Some stores sell biological stuff that's in too low a frequency.
mm,
So you always check if the frequency is all right.
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's a bit of a discouraging thing to say to people, of course. And I don't want to end with that because in the end, of course, it's really fulfilling to be at this stage where we are now, that you actually have let go of all this trauma, you have let go of all the limiting beliefs, that um, you can actually love people without unconditionally. That was a big problem for me when I was young. Um, and
Younger.
Younger, yeah, younger. Yeah, not even when I was young, when I was a little bit younger than now. Um, and well, we really want to help the world evolve and mankind evolve. So we're really grateful that we can help in this way.
A little bit of humor is also very important.
Yes, 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 yes.
There's,
That's true.
I want to mention this, the story of the CD player. Can you do that?
Oh, do you still have time for a story?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I still have a couple of questions. So
Okay.
yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, well, do you want to tell it yourself or do you want me to say?
Well, I start.
Okay.
Yes. I there was one night I couldn't sleep, so I went down to the kitchen and to prepare the breakfast. And at one moment, there's a CD player in the living room. I never touched it because I lived here for only 1.5 years, and it started to play very, very loud, maximum volume. I and I, I was scared. I didn't know what happened, so I went up to there, but it was dark. I couldn't. There was some lights on the player, but I couldn't see where the on and out button was.
Mhm.
I, Eventually, I turned off the volume, but the lights popped up and down, and well, I thought I'd leave it till tomorrow. Then I can see how can I fix that. So now can you?
Okay, well, I was just asleep and then I woke up. I woke in the middle of the night and I thought, is that music I hear? No, I just woke up from the music. Um, but the CD player was began to have a life of its own, sort of. It was being sent, or it was being I don't know how you call that. As if there was a chauffeur behind it, telling it what to do. Um, I went to he told me in the morning that something weird happened to the CD player. So I went, okay, I'm just gonna go over to it and turn it off. So I switched it off, and then it always says goodbye, and then goodbye, and then hello, and went back on. I'm like, hello, I just said goodbye. So I pressed goodbye again, and it was like, hello. So actually, I got it off, and but I think sometime during the day it switched on again, and there was a CD in there. It was a horrible children's CD, which was it kept playing maximum volume, and whenever it would go on, which is not normal either, because normally if you switch it on, it goes low volume. So it was definitely being manipulated. Um, and then I decided, okay, I'll take out the CD because then of course we're not going to be bothered by it anymore. Then even if it goes back on, we won't hear the loud music. So I took that worked. I did eject and I took the CD out, pressed the cassette back in. But then the CD player would just open its cassette and then in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. I came home from school one day and already outside I heard it when I was standing outside the door. And I thought, what is that I hear? It was the cassette going in, out, in, out, in, out. And then I came in and I just had to pull the plug out. And it's dead since then. So
Well, I mean,
yeah.
perfect example. I can see how your frequency interacts with electronic devices, or perhaps it's your children, they're a little bit mischievous, just
Well,
like,
Yeah, it's the children definitely. Yeah, they sometimes they try something.
well,
yeah.
and
That's
he
beautiful.
delivered us a message through
Uh,
Irene. You know of her,
Yep.
and she twice delivered a message from our child was not yet been born.
Hmm.
And in the second message, or the first
I
one,
think it will be the first.
the
Yeah.
first one, he tells us when he is born, he looks forward to playing with that machine when he is born.
When he looks forward to playing with things in real life,
Yeah.
not just
Just he's
yeah,
already having a good go.
So,
Oh
yeah.
goodness. Oh,
yeah.
that's so beautiful. I guess the final question that I have that's sort of on my mind, or maybe on some people's mind, in terms of like the biological age or your actual age, and
Mhm.
what maybe you can share in terms of your own insights of what is what is happening to our bodies as we move forward in terms of like age and aging. Is there anything that you can share? I know I have my own personal beliefs around this, but it would be great
Yeah.
to collaborate in perhaps some similar information.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Because yeah, my age in linear years is 57.
Hmm.
Um, but we believe that your biological age goes down as you evolve,
Hmm.
as you start to ascend, as your frequency goes higher and higher, and you throw off everything.
Hmm.
Um, so we believe our biological age is around 30 at this point, at this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And our real age can reach to up to 150, 200 years, we believe.
easily.
Yes.
I believe that too. Yeah. I do
Yeah,
think that there is a process that changes the metamorphs the physical body. And what I have been shown in a lot of my experiences is that we get the optimum ability to choose, that we can go through this transformation to regress our bodies to its most optimum prime, which for most people would be
Mhm.
30, 40-ish.
Yeah.
I've never seen myself age beyond what I look like now. And I've seen family members and that sort of go through this healing process or metamorphosis where, yeah, they um, age regress. Ultimately, I don't think, yeah. So I do think that we have the option for those who are transitioning into the new earth to have that longer
yeah.
lifespan.
So that's a definite pro, isn't it?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a very
yeah.
positive thing to mention. Yeah.
And I do believe that, pregnancy will be available to a lot more women who feel like they have missed out. I know a lot of people who have seemingly feel like they've missed the boat because of their age, or, you know, they've tried. And I do feel like a lot of the children that want to come through in the new era. So it's not so much anything wrong with them, or maybe, maybe biologically, but I think through this process, the opportunity for women of any age, because I'm so privileged through this work to see so many variations of different stories, and every story has its quirk in the sense that there's something impossible about their either conception or pregnancy process. And I think that the stories that come together of all the women that go through the seemingly impossible or miraculous paints a
Yeah.
whole new picture for what is possible for humanity moving forward. So yeah.
I think we were also talking about this off camera with you that we did a healing a while back of all the limiting beliefs surrounding people who are, for example, too old to get pregnant or who believe they need to go into the medical system once they're pregnant. That we were lifting a lot of those beliefs. So, well, we hope that helps as well
Yeah,
towards
yeah,
people believing, stopping that limiting belief that, oh yeah, I'm too old now. It's not going to happen. No, yes, you're not too old. It is going to happen. You can believe what you believe is going to happen.
Yes.
yeah.
Be careful what you think. It might happen.
Yeah.
Oh, beautifully said. Oh, well, thank you both so very much. It's just been such a pleasure to have you on and to connect in
Thank
this.
you, Alicia. Thank you,
Thank
Alicia.
you so much. It
You
was a
did,
pleasure to be in your podcast, and
you're doing great work.
yeah,
Very important.
yeah, we're
Thank,
really grateful.
Yeah.
thank you so much. Yeah, I have been given the marching orders and the directive to create a voice and to share more information as it comes through, and obviously people's stories. around these children to create a voice for them in preparation for them. So
Yeah, and if people want to connect with us after this podcast, that's perfectly fine as well. So you're welcome to add our mail address if you want.
yeah, perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put the details in the description box
Okay.
if you want to reach out to them. Perhaps you're over in Europe somewhere, or you want to connect. That'll all be
We'd love to
in.
help. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your joy,
Thank
your
you.
humor, and very personal, vulnerable story. So thank you so much, and thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. Until next time, mwah, just sending much love, and we'll connect with you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.